Hey, Dion, how's it going, buddy?
Hey Scott, I'm good. How's things?
Fantastic. So I wanted to have you on today to talk about one of the problems with being a deal giver versus a deal creator. And we've discussed this in the past, but one of the problems is if you're the type, if you, let's say you use Facebook leads or any other kind of marketing, generate leads to then give to realtors so that they hopefully give you business back. What happens is the realtors, there's a limited pie. So if imagine it's a pie and you're giving out slices of pie, they know, hey, and the realtor wants as many slices of pie as they can get. And so they don't share you with other people, right? So there's not like they're not going to be like, hey, if I tell my friends, my other realtor friends about Dion, that means less pie for me. Therefore, I'm never going to share. And I've had this incidentally happen. I had a realtor many years ago who he basically he loved me, but he wrapped his arms around me, but he would not share me with a soul because he thought of me as a potential giving him business. And so walk me through how it's different when you actually create deals.
Yeah, so when you're going to create deals, you're not actually walking into that real estate office saying, here are some clients of mine that I'd like you to service and find real estate for. It's actually going to that realtor and saying, inside your database, you've got a whole bunch of clients who on a regular basis would be able to buy from you. We've just got to go and talk to them. And, you and I have spoken about this math, but if a realtor has 100 homeowners in their database, the reality is this year, fewer than 5 of them will actually need to move. And so that means that there's 95 households out there who that realtor isn't really maximizing, income from. And we need to show them how to go and talk to those 95. So, in terms of rather than walking in with a deal, we show them there's 95 potential deals that we need to go and create, go and shake that tree, go and talk to them in a different way that you've never spoken to them before. And generate extra business that way.
Right. And so the idea is that we show them how to extract the deals that are sitting under their feet. And the cool part is that when you do it, the strategy that we're using, the client's happy because they're like, hey, they're investing in more real estate, and you show them why it makes sense and how it can benefit them. The realtor's happy because there's more business. You're happy because you're able to add a level of value that is and the best part about those type of leads, they're also higher quality. So when you compare it to long form leads online and whatever, the quality is typically really low. Like I was talking to a mortgage girl in Texas last week, and she told me that they had an online lead, 220 leads, 108 applications, and almost every credit score was between 400 and 550. And after taking those applications, talking to these people, they pulled 4 deals out of it.
That sounds like my nightmare.
Yeah. Right? And I'm like, shoot me. The amount, that's also not scalable, because you could do that for one. If the numbers stood up every single month, first of all, you'd be exhausted. Second of all, it doesn't scale, because how do you then work with other people? And the quality of those leads is so low because these people are like, oh, I just filled out that form. I didn't really want to talk, and so versus these people have already done business with the real estate agent. They've been in their homes. They've driven around their car. Like, those people aren't going anywhere, right?
Yeah. I say this to the realtors. Every day we wake up and we're given what I call this gift of 8 hours in our day. And how we spend that 8 hours translates directly to how much money we.
I have 24, but I'm just, no. What are you doing with the other 16?
Nobody works like you, Scott.
No, I don't work 24. I don't work 24.
If we're trying to work an 8 hour day, yeah. And I always ask this question: if you've got the option to work with this internet lead and try and chase them and find out a time to call them and win their trust and show them why you're the right person to sell them a property, versus spending 8 hours with somebody who knows you, has potentially transacted with you, has a relationship with you, and therefore you're not having to win trust, which of those two types of people would you like to work with in this 8 hour day? Mm-hmm. And of course, inevitably, every realtor says, of course I want to work with the person I know. And then I say, well, why do you keep chasing? Why do you keep chasing when all you need to do is start building on what you already have? You have the ability to create your day, how you spend your time, who you spend your time with. And that translates to enjoyment in our industry, number one, and also our bank accounts and the commission that comes from that.
Right. 100%. And you're basically helping them, because the thing is, in sales, real estate, realtors, even mortgage people, we get into the hunter mindset. We're just hunt. And we forget that there comes a point when you actually can turn around and go, wait a second, I think I could farm. I've actually got some, And yeah, it's not going to replace the hunting, but man, it's nice when the farm helps, even out the income over the year or increase the income. And so that's kind of the idea.
Exactly. And the other thing too is, as much as they've got these existing database, the other thing that the realtors that we work with have found very useful is they use us for their first-time home buyers, because they know that if they send us a first-time home buyer, we are always going to be preparing that first-time home buyer for a future rental purchase. So in year one, we say, congratulations, you bought your home, it's $400,000. Based on growth, we believe it's going to be worth $500,000 in a certain period of time, and you will have paid down your mortgage. And so in 5 years from now, you'll have the ability to go off and buy more property. And so that's a message that we continue to send to our realtors clients. And that's why realtors like to use us, not just for their refinance and rental business, an existing business, but also for their new business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's totally true. I completely agree with you on that. And the thing is good mortgage brokers, good loan officers, you're like a golfer who thinks about the next shot. Like they don't just think about the shot they're in. They're like, where do I want to be for my next shot and the next one? And so we have to think a couple steps ahead for our clients, because it's way more valuable for them. We'll make them way more money. We're no longer fighting about a 0.01% on interest rate when they're like, oh, the interest rate. It's like, dude, we're playing the game to win big, not just to win the nickels, right? And so, so what has your experience been like when people get this and they have the conversation? How often are you finding that you having a rate conversation with them that you're having to like?
So the thing is that what we're trying to do is paint for them the solution. So if we go back to that realtor who has the database of that 95 people, what we're doing when we talk to that database is we're asking them, or we're going to show them how we can potentially solve some of their biggest financial problems, like how to pay off your house in 10 years, or pay for your kids' education, build wealth for retirement. Those are the three big questions that we deal with when we're talking with those types of clients. And then once we position ourselves as people who are providing solutions to those big questions, and we can show them the numbers, and we can show them, okay, here's where you're at, here's the debt that you're in. You're going to be in debt for the next 20 years, and here's how we can get out of debt in 10. Mm-hmm. Once they see that, they just want to know what's the plan.
Right.
The nuts and bolts and interest rates are really secondary to them getting debt free and saving themselves $200,000 in interest that they won't have to pay over that 10-year period. So it's most definitely something that's pretty much the last thing that's discussed. I've had clients get to the end of the call, and then I'll say, okay, so we better talk about interest rates. And they go, oh yeah, I guess we should. It's like they're almost surprised that it's even part of the conversation. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, that's 100% true. Okay. So recently we're talking about this whole idea that we kind of, that if you are creating deals, you can actually have realtors work together strategically. So tell me what event you did recently that you had some realtors from different brands actually come together to do an event.
Yeah, so I met this couple, this team, a guy and a girl. They're not married, but they're a business team. They've been working together for 20 years. They said, Dion, we like what you've said. We'd like to introduce you to some friends of ours. They work in different companies. And so they were at a brand called Right at Home. They had friends at Remax, Century 21, and Royal LePage. So we had basically 4 brands. I went to lunch with these guys. We sat down, we had a coffee. I explained the concept. They all said, yep, we want to do this. And then they all joined forces and basically picked a venue. So they'd known each other for years. They'd met at various other events. So it wasn't a relationship that I created amongst these 6, but they knew each other. And they really didn't see an issue with an event where, they were bringing their clients to a multi-branded event, because they didn't see any potential loss of their client. It's like they're coming to listen to the information that we present through the Create 5 strategy, where we tell these clients, answers to these questions. It's not like the client, the realtor from Century 21 who bought their client, it's not like that client's going to walk across the room and go and engage the Remax realtor.
Right.
They were bought there by their realtor. The realtor's been kind enough to, bring them to an event, feed them some food, and give them some great information. And of course, after that event, they're going to go back to that realtor and engage. So, that's a perfect example, Scott, of where I'm not giving anything to anybody. I'm just giving information, and they're bringing their clients, they're filling the room, and they don't really care who else is in the room, as long as their client gets the info that's going to move them to action.
So let's check out this video real quick that you shot at the end of the event, and then we'll just come back and wrap up this conversation. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm here with a group of realtors. Say hi, everybody. And tonight we had an amazing event. We had this many people in the room. I think there were about 80 or so. And that's even when the Leafs are in the playoffs and people still came. We had a room full of 80. What did you think about the event in general?
Fantastic.
Okay, and here's the evidence of the success of tonight. These are all the lead sheets we got. I haven't counted them. There's more than 20. So all of you have leads in here who this year likely will transact. So I hope that we can create an extra 2 or 3 deals for all of you this year. And hopefully we'll do another event sometime next year. Thanks, everybody.
So Dion, that was a great video that you had shared at the end. Everybody seemed excited and happy. So tell me about the numbers. How did it break down in terms of attendees and leads and stuff that you guys pulled out of that?
Yeah, so those realtors pulled at least 80 people into that room. And the numbers are such that whenever we have 80 people in a room, we know that the majority of them are coming with their partners. So of those 80, we know that there's probably what I would call 40 selling opportunities. And the conversion rate traditionally is around 50%. So of those 40, we'd probably get 20 forms handed in. And these are forms that we provide to them. We explain what it is. It's basically a free consultation, sign up for a free consultation. And yeah, we would expect a 40 for 20 to convert. We got 24 forms handed in that night, so we had a slightly higher level of conversion. And you know what? I can tell you that it actually, I think it's a direct relationship to the energy in the room. If I'm presenting to 10 people, and I'm hoping 10 becomes, well, let's say 12 becomes six real potential deals, and then of those 6, we're hoping for 3. It's actually a lower level of conversion when there's fewer people in the room. In fact, when there's more and more people in the room, there's more energy, and that's why in that particular event, I think we converted more than 20 to 24.
Yeah, then higher than 20. So, and then in your experience from the 24, so just fully transparent, 24, how many of them will actually, because not everybody can qualify, right? Some people are like, oh, I love it. And they're like, oh, crap, you can't, doesn't work. So what's typically?
Right. Yeah, not everybody will qualify. Somebody will talk to their mother who says, oh, that's a crazy idea. And so of those 24, the reality is some of them will fall to the wayside, but we'll convert somewhere between 10 and 12 to a deal in the next 12 months or so.
And then some of them also turn into equity takeouts as well. So we're talking, we've got to set up this strategy. You're sitting on $400,000 of equity. We need to access it to execute this, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if the strategy here is buying investment property to help with those financial problems, but in order to buy the property, we need down payment. And most people don't have $100,000 lying around in their bank account, which means that the first thing we do with this client is potentially refinance their principal residence. So many times when a person engages with us, a first interaction with them is 2 deals, a refinance as well as a purchase.
Right. So there's 12 deals there for the real estate agent, 10 to 12, and then there's potentially more for you when you factor in refis and stuff.
Right. And especially if we have control of that refi and we need only $100,000 for this next deal, but we can establish a line of credit for 300 or 400, then of course we will do that and not just set up the next deal, but the one after that. And so
right. So you're now you're thinking of not only this shot in golf, but like 2 shots down. It's like, hey, I want to be here when I'm on the green, so I've got to be there, and you work your way backwards.
And actually there was a recent deal, I forgot to mention this, a different presentation I did. A realtor had a project that he wanted to introduce to his clients. So he did the presentation. He stood up for 5 minutes, talked about this project. There is one client from that particular presentation from a couple of weeks ago. And for him, we are refinancing his principal residence and he is buying 3 condominiums. And that's $1.2 million in funding from one event, from one client.
From one client. 3.
Client.
Yeah. So that's crazy. It's literally like multiplying like rabbits. Okay. So I just want to wrap up. So the whole point, guys, with this is I just wanted to share with you is that one of the worst things that I think you can do is become a deal giver where you're trying to bribe real estate agents to work with you. It is way, way more valuable to be a deal creator. You can add value. There's no competition in terms of between brands. You can get them together. They're going to share your information with their friend, versus, because here's the thing, what you touched on, Dion, those people, every realtor has 4 or 5 realtor buddies, all of them, right?
Yeah.
it's not like they, you know, they don't do this just like us in the mortgage business. We got 4 or 5 mortgage buddies that were like, hey, when I go to a conference, I always hang out with them. And so they all have 4 or 5 buddies. And it's like, okay, maybe the one guy doesn't have the big enough database, but 4 or 5 of them together can put it on an event that would actually be kick ass, right?
Yeah, and I think that event was a success because there was some positive social pressure, meaning that my colleague is going to bring 10, so I better bring 10 to that event. And they did the
action. It creates this sort of like flow. So if you guys are checking this out and you're like, okay, how the heck do I do this in my business? Check out 10 Loans a Month. We've got some free training on there that you can check out. And then if it's something you're interested, reach out, talk to us. We work with, you know, a select number of mortgage people. We are not for everybody, but definitely if you want to work with more real estate agents and you want to be a deal creator, not a deal giver, we would love to chat. Dion, thank you, brother. Any last words before we wrap up?
No, I think other than this is a way that can really transform your business. It can change the power relationship between you and your realtor, and they see you in a totally different light where they'll actually be coming to you for advice, and it's a gateway to multiple deals. So yeah, hopefully if you've seen this and this sort of triggers some interest, please give us a call or look us up.
Yeah, you become a gateway drug is what just what I thought of. So
call me that.
Yeah, you're a gateway drug, dude. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyways, we'll talk later.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.